Any questions? Yes.
No.
Who's your biggest rival in this league?
I think my biggest rival is Cameron, but I think that's a trend that's about to fade away. He really hadn't presented much competition. I'm looking for a new rival this year, and I think there's plenty. I think Blake Glass is a good one. He's always there in playoffs. I get a chance to play him every year, and I think he's a step above Cameron Ollie. Any question? Yes.
Your trade with Blake Glass in the first round, do you think that panned out the way you wanted it to?
I think it worked out great. I ended up getting the same guy that I was going to get at pick 2, but I got a better second round pick. I traded my second pick for the 6th, and got Jamal Charles at 6. And the second pick, Blake got Michael Vick. So I think we're both happy with the trade, and we both got what we wanted out of it. Yes.
You said a comment earlier on the fantasy football wall about week 7. Can you explain on that a little?
Week 7 was a thing in the past where I played Cameron, and I beat him, and I always rub it in his face because any argument or conversation I can just throw in week 7 and I win the argument. And that's all that is, really.
There's been talk that one division is really going to be the marquee division this year. It's going to be a division that has several good teams all in the same one. Do you think the next year or the commissioner needs to step in early and break up that division because it's so powerful? Or how do you think that division is going to play out?
I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good to have one division, and the fans will all love having that one division. There's always going to be good games. Every week there's going to be a good close game, and it's going to be a title push. I think 3 of those 4 teams could easily make playoffs. There's one that's pretty weak, but the other 3 are really good. I think it'll be very interesting. Yes.
Oh, there's been a new roster change this year with the addition of a flex.
Yes.
I noticed that you picked a backup quarterback before picking a second running back.
Yes.
How did this new flex position affect you? And I have a follow-up question as well.
Okay, well, with flex you can start receivers and running backs and tight ends, but I had some good running backs that were further down. I didn't want to take them early, so I figured I'd just go strategy. So I took Stafford because 2 other members of the league were going to wait on quarterbacks, and I knew that they liked Stafford, so I figured why not take them, screw up their strategy, and also get the same guys I wanted later on. It worked out great for me.
That was my follow-up question.
Alex?
How do you feel about the newcomers?
They don't draft very well, but I'm sure they can talk some trash and they'll build off of it.
With the exception of 1 or 2, how did you feel this year's draft went as a whole?
Better than last year. It was better than last year. It was more interesting with 16 teams. I think the decorations and the environment was a lot better.
Do you think it made this year's league more competitive?
After seeing the way we drafted this year, I think last year was more competitive. I think we're going to have 3 or 4 teams this year that are just going to blow everyone away. I'm really impressed with Colt McCown's team. I think he has a good chance to repeat. We'll see how it goes. Yes.
I forgot my question.
Any questions?
Why do you think this year's draft was not as good as last year's draft?
I just don't think there was enough study advice. There was only 1 or 2 magazines printed this year because of the lockout, and I think that affected some of these owners. I think that they drafted quarterback a little bit too early just because there's so much depth at that position. I was thrilled with that because I already planned on not getting quarterback early, so I took advantage of it. I got Fitzgerald and Mike Wallace, 2nd, 3rd round. I'm pleased with it. So.
Can you really
Yes.
tell a difference from the draft by the new 16th team?
I think there's a lot less good players out there. Once we get in those last few rounds, you're just picking guys that you've heard of or you think that they're on a good team. But I don't know. I think most of those guys we picked in the last few rounds, they'll be cut and dropped throughout the year, and we'll be picking up free agents like Foster and Hillis later on in the year.
How has Old Spice been as a sponsor? I know in the past y'all went with some others.
Yeah.
This is Old Spice's first year. Have they stepped up to the plate? Or
Old Spice, they were hesitant to jump on board. We had to show our track record, and we had to show that we had a new commish. We've had trouble with previous commissioners. Cameron Ollie wasn't that good. But Colton McCowan stepped in, and he said, I'll take over. And he met with Old Spice. They flew him over to their corporate office, and they were really impressed with him. He handled himself well. He dressed the best I've ever seen a commissioner. He realized the position, and he knew it was game time. And we stepped up. We've got great division names. We got this new trophy here. Old Spice is a good sponsor. Yes.
You talk a lot about Colton McCowan.
Yes.
There's a rumor going around that Cameron has a crush on you. Are you kind of leaning? Are you still in the closet?
I really like talking about Colton because he won this trophy, and you got to model yourself after the champion. People want to know about Colton. They saw he's just like Green Bay. People want to know about Aaron Rodgers. They want to know more about these players because they know how to do it. I'm not going to sit here and waste y'all's time talking about people like Matt Lewis. Nobody cares. So, anything else?
You always seem to have a strong team. Always seem to score a lot of points. How are you feeling about this upcoming season? You can never seem to pull off a championship. How do you expect for this season to be a change for that?
I think this year the regular season will be a breeze, but it's playoffs that I'm worried about. I've already looked into Jamal Charles' playoff schedule, and he's got some rough games. He's got Steelers, Ravens, Patriots, all last 5 games. So I might be looking to trade him before going into playoffs. Just a little strategy things, and I think I got a good shot.
In the past, you've been known for your trading. Do you plan to trade a whole bunch like you have, or just that 1-2 times?
I guess we'll have to see how it goes. I like to trade with people like Chad Lineback and Matt Lewis because they accept trades a lot more often. But now that Chad's gone, my season could really go down the drain. Chad was a guy that I leaned on in the toughest times, and he's gone, and that's really going to make an impact on the fantasy environment. Yes.
So can we expect a trade offer from you by the end of the night?
I think I'll look at my team and look at some other teams and see if there's anything. But like I said, without Chad, I don't think so. Yes.
What you said about Chad was so tragic.
Chad was a good owner, but he just didn't have what it takes to win. So we had to get him out. Is that it? Thank you. Who else?